Hello and welcome to another Daily Muppet. Been a few days, had a lot going on with Halloween, a little bit of a cold over the weekend as well. But back to it now, following United's win over West Ham and a look forward to Sociedad. I want to talk about quite a few things. I want to talk about the right back situation, about January, about Pellistri, about new contracts, and do a little bit of an off-the-wall prediction for what we may see in game versus Sociedad as a lineup that Erik ten Hag has been testing recently with Ronaldo and Rashford. But first, I actually have a new sponsor that I will talk about a few times on video. I try to be discerning with this because there's a lot of brands and things that I don't want to promote, so I only really wanted to promote something that I like, actually use this. So the Muppeteers are now sponsored by Canva. Canva is a wonderful online tool that allows you to create amazing graphics for social media, make presentation, animated videos, logos, and so much more. And most of it is for free. You can sign up and get an account for free to create graphics all you want. It has a pro feature that has a lot of fantastic functions that are available at a very low monthly cost that I definitely recommend. I use it for all the YouTube thumbnails. I use it at work constantly. Use it for a lot of graphics. You can design practically anything with it, from web pages to layout pages to mailing pieces to social media posts and all the rest. So I recommend you to create an account for Canva if you do anything with graphics for work or personal, for social media or anything like that. It is a fantastic tool, whether you're free or you actually sign up and pay for it. It's a wonderful tool, and now sponsoring the Muppeteers, so it's something I use every day, and I figured that I'd be happy to then promote it. So you can click the link below in the description, which will give you the link that tracks it from my advertisement, my promotion of this, and if you use it, then I appreciate that. All right, getting into it. So first I want to talk about Pellistri. There was there was a statement from his agent to South American ESPN that he would likely be leaving in January after a good World Cup, which they expect to have. They expect him to play. And there's some question as to whether he means loan or permanent, and I think it's both. I think that they're looking at a loan to a permanent deal for Pellistri based on conversations I've had with people around Pellistri's camp prior. If he was not getting chances at this year, he was expecting and wanting to leave and to permanently move on to get his career started. He wanted to make things work at United. His goal has always been to make it at United, but without getting chances, he's unlikely to want to stick around, and there will be interest in him. He's a proven international for Uruguay, which is amazing. He's going to play for them at the World Cup. He's likely going to feature regularly, so there will be interest in him, and I think it may be that he's just looking to move on with his career unless some chances get going, in which case perhaps something will change. But I sort of see this as a little bit of a Garner situation where in the end they will cash in on him to raise funds for other positions of need, and I have a few things to talk about with that. In terms of right back, there's been discussions based on Ten Hag's comments about having two fullbacks in each position, that he would need a right back at a second right back to back up Dalot, as Wan-Bissaka still wants out. And so obviously there's been rumors since about Frimpong, about Max Aarons once again for the fourth year in a row, about so many players. However, I have maintained for quite a while that the primary plan at the moment is Ethan Laird to be that backup. And it was confirmed by Samuel Luckhurst just this morning or last night that United do have a recall clause in Ethan Laird's loan deal, that they can bring him back in January if they so choose and want to use him. So there's a very strong possibility that if Wan-Bissaka were to depart, that would be what they would do for the right back position in the meantime, and then they could look at it again in summer and see how Laird does. But at the moment, as I've maintained for quite some time, it is most likely that Ethan Laird will be the backup right back should Wan-Bissaka depart. That is the main plan. That is what is expected, and that's now been confirmed by Luckhurst as well. So just another piece of information that I've tried to put out there and be clear about that is getting confirmed by people around the club. Samuel Luckhurst also stated there will be no signings in January, and United are not planning to do that, which I've also maintained is the truth. They are not planning to make signings in January. As it stands, the plan is as follows. Number one, United know that they need a striker, a goalkeeper, and a midfielder, and they also want to reinforce that right back position. It is in that order. They do not feel they'll be able to obtain the type of striker they want in January. So someone like Gakpo would come in as a second signing to a striker that would come in summer, but would only come in if there were departures of Ronaldo, Van de Beek, or someone major like that. So they're looking at it for summer for that position. The goalkeeper situation will not be resolved until summer. The midfield position, they do not have the budget to stretch for. So that will not be addressed in January, and there's really no need for it. We have a lot of midfielders right now. And the right back position is as mentioned. So the expectation is that there is no signing in January because the overall plan is the only position that they could work towards is right back, and they have that recall clause for Laird that they could bring in and revisit it in summer. Don't expect a lot of changes this year without any sort of departures. This has become very clear and something I've been insisting on for some time because I know it to be true that they're not expecting to spend a lot of money in January or any money in January outside of potential departures, specifically and most notably if Ronaldo were to find a route out. So that is the situation as it stands on transfers. Ethan Laird being the backup right back, the striker being the main signing that they have the budget for in summer. Goalkeeper would be the next one that would be funded by De Gea taking a wage cut and Dean Henderson being sold, or De Gea leaving and Dean Henderson being sold. And the budget really doesn't go beyond that without further sales. So there isn't the money to spend in January and then say, yay, we can spend in January, buy something, and we'll still go into summer. The players aren't there. The players that they want aren't there. The players that they would be looking at, I believe, are still in the Champions League. Outside of maybe like an Ivan Toney, but that's like a secondary one. So, again, going back to it, very unlikely for there to be any sort of signings in January as of now. But there is a plan for next summer, and that's where the money needs to be saved for those major key signings. In addition to that, talking about new contracts, there's been some news that they're likely to trigger Marcus Rashford's +1. They're likely to do that with a couple of players. By my understanding, it's most likely they'll do that with Dalot and Rashford so they have time to discuss new contracts. They've made the decisions, as far as I know, in October on who they will definitely be extending. And Rashford and Dalot would be the ones. In addition to that, obviously, we've talked about the De Gea situation. It's unlikely for them to extend anyone else except Fred. I don't think I'm missing anybody in that, but they would just let everybody else go, and they don't want to automatically do it. Fred is likely to be extended because, as I said, they do not have the budget to sign a midfielder in the summer on top of the striker and goalkeeper, so they will want to hold on to this core that they have at least one more year and address it in 2024 because the major targets they might be looking at are also just not available for United. Jude Bellingham is looking at Manchester City as well as Madrid, and there's just not the perfect players available at the moment, and certainly not the money. It is third down the list. They want a central midfielder. They want someone, but the money is not there. So I think you'll see Dalot, Rashford, and Fred getting extended before January. And then I think you will also see new contracts for Dalot and Rashford come the turn of the year following the World Cup. And that's the expectation as of now. Looking ahead to Sociedad, United have to win by 2 goals in order to go through at the top. And there's a lot of good teams that have dropped down into third. So from the Champions League into Europa League, so it'll be much better to not have to face them. Have to win by 2 goals. And we're facing a little bit of an injury crisis with Anthony Martial returning to training, but still somehow not healthy enough to travel. Antony out with an injury and Jadon Sancho missing with illness. What does that leave United? Well, Ten Hag has been trialing a bit of this 4-4-2 kind of attack with Bruno Fernandes, Rashford, and Ronaldo up top as sort of a 2. And I got an impression of how he might want to play and how I might expect us to line up versus Sociedad. That I want to show you. This is my thoughts. This is a bit unusual. This is obviously in-game, how it would play with his sort of setup. You have Ronaldo up top with Rashford next to and behind him. Bruno off to the right. You're going to have Luke Shaw basically playing extremely high. Obviously, this is going to shift into the back four, right? Shaw's going to be deeper, pushing up really high, but with Fred being able to get behind him. Fred and Eriksen pushing in, so you're making that 5 zones with a striker as a focal point up top. This is a very Ten Hag way of attacking, and with the limited options, I think this gives us the most quality to score goals. You have Shaw, Rashford, Ronaldo, Bruno, Fred, and Eriksen. It's very much how we lined up in the latter stages of Sheriff after changes where we were really attacking. So bear in mind, it's obviously in-game, it's not in transition. This is how you want us to attack in-game, is really pushed up there with Eriksen and Fred switching sides. Gives you a lot. Good ball winning in the midfield with Fred and Casemiro. Coverage for Luke Shaw going up with Fred on the left side. Rashford playing off Ronaldo. Bruno in there making an attack, putting crosses in, doing things like that, making those back post runs from the right. I think this is what we could see in-game. Obviously, it would start as your normal kind of 4-2-3-1 with looking like Rashford off the left, Ronaldo up top, and Bruno on the right, or a diamond, or however you want to call it. But I could see this happening since we need to score a goal, so we have nothing to lose. This is like all-out attack, right? We lose, nothing changes. We draw, nothing changes. We win by 1, nothing changes. It's got to be all-out attack. And then obviously you can make substitutions and make some changes in the midfield, to shore it up once you get those goals. But Sociedad are missing some key players. So this is what I would like to see. This is what I would expect it might look like in-game if we're really going for it. Best players in, got to play the best game in front of us, and hopefully have more options available for Villa on Sunday. So that's what I've got. So let me know your thoughts on the plan. Striker, goalkeeper, maybe central midfielder later. Ethan Laird at right back. He's been performing well. Could he come in January for Wan-Bissaka? What do you think about the team that I've set up there for Sociedad? How do you think that would do? Is it time to reward Dalot and Rashford for new contracts? They both seem to have deserved it. Obviously, you could wait longer into the season, but you don't want to have to be replacing them, especially with the performances of Jadon Sancho being poor, not having another right back really at the club right now. Martial, Ronaldo, I think it's impossible to lose those players, and they need to get new contracts. I think it would be a horrific situation to not be able to lock them down, so I think they should get new contracts. So that's what I've got for now. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications on, and leave me your questions and comments in below, and I'll see you in the next video.